Hello guys, BioLizard1 here, and today I'm going to bring you another narrated Wi-Fi battle, and this was an overused match against a Nubagator, a guy I met at Smogon. This is a team I use pretty often in my previous battles, and yeah, he's using a weather team as well. So yeah, weather dominates the overused metagame in my opinion. So I start off with Tyranitar, set up the Sandstorm, and then he goes into his magical genie, and I thought that he would go for a stab earthquake, but he doesn't do that. He decides to go for a U-turn while I switch out into my Weezing, and I'm pretty fine with that because Weezing is both my physical and special defensive wall, so it can basically take anything. Now he sends in his Politoed, and Politoed is just there to set up the rain, and this is once again going to be a weather stall. And I'm going to predict him to go for any stab move right now, and not for a U-turn, that is, and I switch out into my Celebi, my defensive wall, but he decides to go for a U-turn again, and luckily I take this opportunity to go for a Thunder Wave, because my Thunder Wave is just going to paralyze this Breloom, and a paralyzed Breloom is a useless Breloom because they usually run their poison healing sets, and yeah, I kind of enabled that, which is kind of cool. His Breloom decides to go for a Spore. Spore is going to put me asleep since it is a 100% chance of doing that, but I don't mind because my Celebi has natural cure. Now I'm wondering, is he going to he's going to go for another Spore, so now I need another Pokemon on my team to go sleep instead, and I just opted to go for my Weezing because yeah, Weezing is basically the best Pokemon to go sleep at this point. So now I'm going to switch out into Celebi, not really sure what he's going to do. He switches out into his Starmie, and my Celebi can't stay in against that because an Ice Beam is definitely not going to finish him off. Then I went into a most predictable move and went for a Grass Knot, while he can go into his Celebi and resist that 2 times. So that wasn't really great for me. Then I decided to go for another Thunder Wave, but he predicts that it goes into his Landorus and U-turns out. I predicted that U-turn, if I'm correct, and went for a Recover. Yep, that's what I did. So I went for a Recover, and I think now it is time that I went for the Leech Seed. I'm sorry if I can't remember correctly what I did here, but I had this match a while ago, so... Then he decided to go for a Body Slam with Serene Grace. He has a 60% of hitting me, so... For some odd reason, I decided to go for a Hidden Power Ice right here, which wasn't the best move. What I should have done is just go for a Leech Seed, and yeah, then things would have been much easier for me because now he will be able to Iron Head stall me. But luckily for me, I'm going to go through the paralyzation and go through the flinch rate of Iron Head and go for a Thunder Wave, which will help me a lot in the future. So because I probably think he's still going to outspeed me, I'm just going to switch out into my Tyranitar, predicting him to go for another Iron Head. But luckily for me, he gets a paralyzation, which works out excellent. And now I thought that he would switch out, but he keeps staying in while I predict, so that doesn't really go well for me. So I'm just going to go for the Stealth Rocks because I really need them up. And yeah, now I'm debating to either go for maybe an Earthquake or try to make him believe that I can go for an Earthquake, because this is actually my Boa with Fire Blast and Ice Beam. But he decides to go for a Stealth Rock of his own because basically now when I set up my rocks, he needs to set up his, of course. But yeah, I'm just gonna go in Celebi, maybe predict him to go for another Thunder Wave or Body Slam, and I think that my Weezing can take it. And I kept switching around at this point because I really wanted to lure him into the correct move. And now that I know that he is going to have to switch out because he can't put me into a status condition, I'm just going to stay in with my Weezing and burn off a turn of sleep. And here he predicted me to switch out again, which I did, which was a good prediction on his part. And I go into my Celebi, and at this point I was fearing the U-turn, but U-turn was kind of obvious, so I thought he might overpredict and go for an Earthquake, so that's why I decided to stay in. And in this game my predictions weren't going too well for me because I predicted wrong so many times, but I had this battle after a while, so I kind of lost touch with the gaming metagame. So yeah, that kind of sucked for me. But he goes into Starmie. Starmie is probably going to go for the Ice Beam right now, and I predicted that I could take it. and go for a grass knot. And that is what happens. I survive, go for a grass knot now, and I think that's going to finish off this Starmie. And yeah, it does, so that's amazing. Celebi is going to get some leftovers, and I predict him to go into Landorus right now for the U-turn. And I don't want to lose my Celebi that early in the game, so I'm just going to switch out into my Weezing. And Weezing can take the U-turn with relative ease. But maybe I should have stayed in and let my Celebi die, but at this point I was still fearing the Breloom, because I didn't have a Breloom counter on my team. And yeah, I just stay in right now, and then Politoed comes back in. Politoed brings back the rain, and a surf in the rain from Politoed is going to finish off my Weezing. And I really thought that I would be able to survive it, but unfortunately I don't. So I switch out into my Tyranitar back again with the sole purpose of setting up the Sandstorm. With that I get my special defense raise, and even though I get a special defense raise, I thought I would be able to take this better. And yeah, he switches. I thought he would switch out as well because he was kind of in a bad position, and I thought he didn't want me to have up Sandstorm, which would have been the obvious move. But once again he predicted me out, and I predicted wrong, so that kind of sucks. So I switch out into my Azumarill, and Azumarill really doesn't mind the drizzle, but unfortunately for me I have Sandstorm up now. So I'm just going to go for a superpower right now. Superpower, bam! Right in the face of the Politoed, and Politoed is going to die. So I really don't want to lose Azumarill at this point of the game, because it's my only hope in taking down Landorus. And he knows that, so he's going to Landorus, going to try to take out my my Azumarill. But yeah, now the Earthquake was obvious, but I really had to sacrifice one Pokemon in the progress, so I thought Celebi would have been the obvious choice. Now I go into my Bandit, and he withdraws, and I knew he would go into Breloom, but that's why I went for a Crunch. But I really thought that Crunch would have been able to do more, and I didn't really want to risk my my Stone Edge missing. But now he's going to be able to get off a Spore on my Bandit, on my Crocodile, and that really sucks for me, because now it's very, very hard to win this game. And he's going to go for a Drain Punch, heal up all the HP that he has lost so far. And yeah, I was just not thinking straight in this battle. It was kind of a bad battle on my side. But I still have my Nidoking. I'm going to go for a Fire Blast. I could have gone for the Ice Beam as well, but I didn't do that. If he switched into his Landorus right now, then I would have been in severe trouble. But yeah, now I know that he's going to Earthquake me. I'll be only left with my Azumarill, and Azumarill can only go for the what's it called? For the Aqua Jet. So that is what I'm going to do. He's going to predict that, if I'm correctly. No, he's just going to stay in and finish me off with the incoming Breloom. So that was a good game, guy. Nubagator, I really enjoyed this battle. You really showed me how to play Drizzle against Sandstorm. And it actually goes into Slowbro, where he's going to finish me off with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle as well. Don't forget to like this battle, to comment to my battle, and yeah, subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next battle will be up on Saturday, and on Sunday we'll have a new episode of the Super Effective Podcast with our guest, the Killer Nacho and Little Relapse. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in my next battle.